Hey, what's up, guys? So it's Tuesday. I'm about to head out to an Overeaters Anonymous meeting. I'm not really sure what to expect. I'm not the best at starting conversations with people. I do pretty well when there's like a predefined context. Like if somebody gives us a task to do, I can be pretty outgoing, or if I'm already with a group of friends, I can be pretty social. But definitely like walking into a room full of strangers and trying to start a conversation is not really my thing. So I'm not sure how tonight will go or how it's structured. And I think it's especially a little bit weird just because like the entire theme of this meeting is about my weakness, which for me is rooted in something like deeply emotional. But I'm guessing that the whole point is that everybody struggles with it in some way or another. And so that can be like the one thing that binds us. I'm not walking into tonight with any expectations. It's the first time that I've actually tried in a direct way to address what I'm going through at the emotional level. So I'm hoping it will help. I'll tell you guys how it goes in a bit. So last night, I took the advice of a friend of mine and headed down to an Overeaters Anonymous meeting. And, to be honest, I didn't really know what to expect, but I knew that it was something that I had to do if I was going to get on a better path with my weight loss journey. And so I was a little bit nervous, and I'd been kind of thinking about it all day and all during the drive down there. And I finally got there and got to the room that had been reserved for the meeting, and I found out that it had been canceled. So originally I was planning on making this video about my first time experience with OA, but since I didn't actually go to the meeting, I guess I'm just gonna have to make this video about why I'm interested in joining Overeaters Anonymous, or at least checking it out to begin with. And I guess in order to really explain that, I have to take you back a couple of days. So I mentioned a couple of days ago that somebody had left a comment on one of my vlogs, basically suggesting that I should stop talking about my struggles with my weight loss and start using that time to exercise instead. Now, to be fair, that suggestion sounds reasonable on the surface, but what I didn't tell you is that the words that he chose to package that idea were, let's just say, less than uplifting. So after a couple of back and forths, he actually told me that he was deliberately trying to be as inflammatory as possible so that I would get angry and take it out on a treadmill. And I don't want to rehash the conversation, but I'll share this because I think that it's necessary to kind of illustrate his perspective. He said that when he sees a friend who has fallen, his approach is to kick them in the ass and tell them to get back up. I mean, which I guess is a legitimate approach if you think of yourself as a drill sergeant. But even then, the effectiveness of that approach depends on how bad the fall was. I mean, a drill sergeant might yell and holler at a soldier who has just temporarily lost his footing and is catching his breath. But if that soldier has recently, fallen out of a helicopter, then yelling and screaming is not going to be anywhere near as effective as a helping hand and a stretcher. So really, the right approach here revolves around the answer to the question, how bad was the fall? Now, in my friend's eyes, he's probably thinking, well, the fall's not that bad. Maybe you've got a sprained ankle, you've got a little bit of fatigue, a bruised ego, big deal. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and stop crying about it. But from where I sit, the damage from the fall actually feels a lot more extensive. And I guess the best way to illustrate this is with a specific example. So I'm continuing this conversation with my friend, and we're going back and forth, and he's deliberately getting a lot more derogatory, and his comments start getting less prescriptive and a lot more personal. And after a while, I realized that I was starting to actually physically feel hungry. My stomach started grumbling, and I started feeling a little bit lightheaded. And in that moment, the only thing that I wanted was a full feeling in my belly. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I don't think that that's normal. Not everyone feels the urge to order fried chicken when they're feeling stressed or attacked or powerless. But some people might pour themselves a glass of wine or maybe something stronger. Some people might head down to the casino and blow their next paycheck. And some people might spend the evening spreading their own brand of helpfulness and enlightenment all over the internet. Anyway, my point is that we all process emotion differently. And emotional inputs yield behavioral outputs. And this works with positive emotion too, because after about an hour of really intense back and forth with my friend, I was literally at the point where I was browsing a takeout menu on my phone. And then another friend of mine weighed in with her opinion. And the words that she offered were much more affirming and positive, while still requiring me to take action. So it's not like she was blowing smoke and telling me that I was fine the way that I was. And it's weird because I actually remember that there was a point in the conversation where I put down my phone and I literally physically felt full. I felt full of hope for the future, and any physical feelings of hunger that I was feeling were completely gone. So anyway, that's why I'm interested in joining Overeaters Anonymous. It's because if that conversation taught me anything, it taught me that the tone of the voices that you allow to speak into your life makes a huge difference. And I want to surround myself with people who understand the fall and what lies ahead on the road beyond it.